Testing, testing. Can you hear that? How does that sound? Testing, 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 testing.
And then for the wired mics to go to mic up their amp and drum.
Steven. I'm about to hurl. We're at the back next to Donna Ruth just because there's a drum. Steven? No. I love you, but I hate you. Do you know if he has... Are you good to go? Yeah, I'm just looking at my YouTube video. Yeah, I'm good to go. Okay, very good. So she has pictures for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Test. Musician mic, test.
Oh, you're just opening.
Oh.
Yeah, just getting ready.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why you had to turn them up so loud.
Running down around the town along the shore. When I was 16 and
Test. There we go.
Like Steven.
Musician mic. Yeah, musician mic.
no, I couldn't tell you what the hell breaks before. Was just trying to hear my song.
Drum mic. Well, I'm going to do this one on the drums, but we'll have to do a wired mic for his amp.
Jimmy
And I'm just
found
gonna
his
run the wire
own
behind
sweet
and straight through.
sound and won that free guitar. without getting the van and play. Life became the paradox, the bear, the rouge et noir, the stretch of road running to LA. Pages turning, pages weary years from running, straight into the night of hearts will find. Gotta bring your own redemption when you come to the barricades of heaven where I'm from.
Piece of shit. Yeah, I think so. Fine.
Oh, the world was shining from those hills, stars above and the lights below. Among those there to test their fortunes and their will, I lost track of them long, long ago. Pages turning, pages weary years
Randomly
from
decides they need extra
straight into the night our hearts will fly. Better bring your own redemption when you come to the barricades of heaven where I'm from. Childhood comes for
Jimmy K. Smith for you.
voices of my friends. Your face bathing me in light. Hope that never ends.
Sounds like trio incognito.
Jimmy and the Incomparables. All right. But what I'll do is I'll just do a quick, welcome and
Pages turning,
guys for coming. We'll
pages torn and pages blue.
do the main
Faded pages open in the sun. Better bring your own redemption when you come to the barricades of heaven where I'm from. Better bring your own
Logged in and I can't
redemption when
bring
you
up
come to the barricades of heaven where I'm from. Thank you.
It's never been this way.
Thank you very much.
We're not starting on time. Sorry.
Well, actually, what I'm
Finally, let's see if it's
Made me leave my happy home.
Man, I just noticed the days, man. That's what do you mean now? Surreal, man.
You took my love, and now you've gone.
Come up with the shade. Well, actually, he did. I just like.
Since I fell for you.
And I picked the woods and like which
Love
it's mahogany.
brings such misery and pain. I guess I'll never be the same
File somewhere that has the login information.
since I fell for you.
I'll check it available.
It was $1,000.
And it's too bad, and it's too sad.
Nicer,
I'm still in love with you.
This dude sells bases, like past his bases,
You
like
love me,
all the batteries and shit. For like,
and then you snub me.
it's insane.
What can I do? I'm still in love with you. And
Hey, sorry.
guess I'll never see the light.
Trying to relog in for media.
I get the news most every night
Has the login information. Effort.
since I fell for you.
For what? Yes? Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was in documents, but it says, and this front computer is so slow. There's something wrong with this.
But I was raised here. You could just say I was raised here. People need to know where I was born.
And I'm from Riga.
Yeah, trying to get to that email that has attachments that Laura needs for community moment.
That's right.
I was there, test.txt in the search, but it doesn't know where it is. It's still searching from the beginning. It's like it was wiped. Let me see if I can find it. It's just taking a long time to search.
Going to see like the ballet and then like they do overnights there. So it's like awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that city is insane. You know, especially if you get
But even in like kind of like the early to like 2010, era time, you kind of had to kind of tamp down the fact that you're American.
Yeah, this search
Maybe that was
isn't
an
going anywhere.
over-exaggeration by some of the people. But yeah, they said, try not to lead with that when you're in Russia.
man, when I was there, and that was I think the first time I went there like in 2013, something like that. After a while,
Okay, so there's another document.
literally
There's
thinking
just
that
Zoom.
I'm still in the States.
It wouldn't be OneDrive, would it?
Yeah, even
What's
also
that?
because they like they would
Oh,
play
okay.
jazz.
I think some people may wipe stuff off the computer. It doesn't have all the stuff it used to.
And it's too bad, and it's too sad. But I'm still in love with you, and you love me, and you snub me. What can I do? I'm still in love.
How it should be, right?
I should say mostly British.
I'm not mic'd up.
BAA, big R, N, 33, X, 2, big A, I, okay?
I want to take a picture.
Okay.
You mind?
Oh yeah, sorry about totally.
It says your organization will manage this profile. Since when? Okay, I'm going to cancel that. Attach profile to this browser.
You're good. One day we'll get a gig. We'll just copy the
Browser data manage. I'm going to try canceling. See if it will. Okay, it looks like I'm in. Okay, I'm in.
Joffrey was.
Okay. Email open.
cash and check. Very valuable lesson.
Yeah, what was the lesson? Toss the football, catch the check?
Play the football. Football's up.
Okay, I'm in the email. Okay, I'm good for now. Thanks, Abhishek. Bye. Okay. What do you think we need to? Okay. Oh, please go ahead. I need to check on it.
Yeah.
Okay. You have
Oh, man, I love that shape.
okay. Your app out.
I had Mike Terry make me a real silly bass, like at the beginning of. You've seen it, right? Have you ever seen it? It's a 6-string with a whammy bar, and it's got a kill switch on it, so it goes, you know.
Is it somewhat hollow or it's
No, it's
solid?
It's solid body, yeah.
Oh,
And it's just like it's actually. It's like 3 inches longer than this, so it's an inch longer than a normal 4-string bass, and it's like, it's pretty ridiculous.
small body like this or?
It's not as small as this, but it's still really light. I think it's still under 10 pounds. All my basses that are like been custom made have been with the
Yeah, we got them.
keeping them light. You know what I mean? I had another bass, the bass that the Terry bass was built based off of, and it was based off of. It was like 15 pounds. And my back was just like,
Yeah, no. If you have to stand, it's
I love sitting. I would rather sit.
Yeah, the speaker is from here
what? That's why I chose this instrument.
here to there.
If there wasn't this an actual play laying on the couch. That's it.
That's so good.
Well, they're ordered in the numbering that,
Okay, so I speak them, and then I just click on this for the show order then.
You can be that loud.
Blue wire. Want to hear the drums? Okay. Here's some drums. A little bass. Oh, yeah, I get it. Yep. Yeah, we're good there. All right. All right. Now, what we have you on? Red. You're on the red. Red right here. Okay. Your voice is mic.
Good morning. There it is. Okay, yeah, I guess it's happening.
What's that? Laura will use YouTube. I think her stuff is in.
Yeah. Bring up sound? Nothing. Oh, it has no sound. Oh, sorry. Okay.
The other one does. That one.
Yeah.
The Fred puts together sound. Oh, I muted it. Don't.
You're on my apartment building on Granite Avenue. You owe me $300. Get it up?
That's good.
Fred, take.
All right.
Are we ready?
We are ready. Is this you?
That one's muted.
Oh, that, okay.
Well, yeah, we need the Bhutan one.
Oh,
I think it's just the picture.
okay. But I want to make sure that when it goes to play, let's see, where's the slideshow? Let's do slideshow real quick. Make sure it's going to do all the work. Okay. Right. Oh, I need a battery, but I'll get that in a second. Right is forward, left is back. Okay.
I mean, that's after.
I'll get a new battery.
We'll do that after the break.
Okay, the Bhutan here, right? Okay, and this is just slide.
Well, there'll be more. It's okay.
Yeah, okay.
They're all in this.
Oh, she's just gonna.
She's gonna fold. Yeah.
Okay, well, she's comfortable with that. I'm good.
Yep.
Okay.
Man, I just found some purple art at this hardware store, and I want to build a ramp, which is like a little piece of wood that like matches all of this together. You know what I mean? So I can put my hand anywhere, but also like it'll never fall below this line. Does that make any sense?
You never go that deep with the finger.
No, but it's nice to have. It's nice to have like the feeling that something is behind there. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's like a sensor.
Love with you. I guess I'll never see the light. I get the blues.
Good morning, everybody. It is so good to see you all here at Houston Oasis. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to Houston Oasis, a community of compassion and reason. And, just a little bit of sanity in the world these days. So we have an absolutely excellent program lined up for you all. Music will be provided by Jimmy K. Smith Trio. We'll have a community moment about Sarah Cleveland's trip to Bhutan. She took some absolutely fantastic pictures that she's looking forward to sharing with us. And then, of course, a coffee break for us to talk and meet each other, followed by a main talk from Laura Fulmer, who's been a long-time Oasis member and is going to tell us a little bit more about speech-language pathology. Lunch today after Oasis is going to be at Katz's Deli on 616 Westheimer Road. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get underway. Jimmy and the Incognitos, are you guys ready to go? All right, take it away. Yeah? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that music. I don't know if anybody else felt like leaning back with a little bit of a cocktail or something and just taking it all in. Certainly needed that. Thank you so much. Next we're going to hear from Sarah Cleveland about her trip to Bhutan.
Okay. And I just click on them. Okay. So I was encouraged to give this talk by a fellow Oasian when I came back from Drukyul, which is what Bhutan is called there, which means the land of the thunder dragon. And so flying to Bhutan, how do I catch the pictures? Oops. Uh-oh. Oh, wait. How do I see?
Go to the folder.
The folder. Sorry, I'm not very computer savvy.
Go over to
Oh, to,
the
that.
yellow folder.
Okay.
Whoops.
Okay. So we flew over the Himalayas. So Bhutan. How do I get it to go on screen?
It might just take a little bit.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You're fine.
So Bhutan can't boast having Mount Everest, but it does have the highest non-climbed mountain in the world. And then I go back to where?
Hey, trying to close it in.
And then close it.
You're trying to.
Okay. And then I just click on the picture?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is an example. Okay. And then just hit it? Oh, what did you do? Oh, put enter.
Yeah, I use
Okay.
the arrow keys in the menu.
Okay. Okay. And how do you make it bigger?
That's a good question. Can we do full screen?
You just do the slide over thing on the bottom here as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you go left and right, you might actually.
Okay. Do you mind standing here with me?
We'll stay very close. Okay.
Whoops, that was the one you're not supposed to show.
Shh, don't look at that. Everyone close their eyes.
That one got censored. Okay, so this is an example of the architectural style and design. So it's mandated in Bhutan that the buildings can't be over 3 stories high. And then I go where? Close it. Okay.
Do you want me to just delete those ones that we shouldn't see?
Okay, good idea. Okay. And so some of the other things I learned about Bhutan is this is the national dress, traditional dress. Okay. And it's required to wear whenever one enters a temple, goes to school, most of the workplaces. Other times people are allowed to wear their traditional clothing. Oh, I did the wrong one.
I would just go left and right to go to the next one.
Okay, they're not in order though.
Oh, no.
Okay, so how do I go back to them? Oh, this is disastrous. Okay. All right, and then I go here.
Yeah.
And then go here, and no, that wasn't it. The national sport is archery, and no, this one here. Do you mind if I just point them out and you find them for me? Okay. Archery, and it's really, the field is so long, it's like 460 feet. You can't really see the arrow when it hits the target. You just kind of can hear it. So it's almost twice as long as an Olympic field. Back here? No. Okay. Okay.
And then point at the one you want.
Okay. And this is the national animal. We went to an animal preserve. This is known as a takin. Okay. And, yeah,
You want to leave it out for a second?
okay. Okay. Oh, still look at that? Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right. And Bhutan is the only country that doesn't have any traffic lights, so traffic signals, so they do it the old-fashioned way with the policeman. Okay. And then Bhutan is 75% of the population is Buddhist. So you see that permeate throughout the country, in schools, government, daily life. This is an example of one of the many stupas or monuments they have that encase religious relics. And so people walk around it clockwise 3 times at least, saying prayers, meditating, giving blessings. And we visited the tallest Buddha, sitting Buddha in the world. Okay. And this is an example of a prayer wheel. And you see these throughout the country too. Again, a means of expressing prayers and meditation. Some of them you can, like this one, you can walk around and spin it as you're praying. And that one. And this is the pictures of the royal family. This is the 5th and present king, very beloved. And so you see pictures of the royalty all over. And it's his father, the 4th king, that proclaimed that Bhutan it was more important for the to promote the government national happiness, gross national happiness over gross national products. And I'll talk about that more later. Okay. All right. Oh, I forgot this one. Okay, that one. And this is examples of prayer flags. These are throughout the country, especially in the mountains or anywhere the wind can catch the prayers and send them up into the heavens. Okay. And then one of my favorite things we did is we took a hike up to what's called the Tiger's Nest. So we started at the base here of the parking lot, and then we hiked up to the Tiger's Nest, which it gets its name from the person who's credited with bringing Buddhism to Bhutan in the 8th century, Guru Rinpoche. It is said that he flew on the back of a tigress to this cave and meditated. And so in the 6th century, they built this series of temples in a monastery there. So it was a really fabulous time, a hike up there and then seeing these temples. And I don't know if it was from the hike itself or just the magnificence of the temples. I had this feeling of exhilaration that lasted for several hours after we descended. Okay. And then we visited a lot of other temples. This temple was very interesting because you noticed there was a monk sitting on mats on the floor with some tourists, and our guide said that the monk was giving them an astrology reading using an app on his cell phone. So evidently, the monks some of them are trained in astrology. So at least in Bhutan, astrology is very closely linked to Buddhism. And then this was a really fun temple we went to. It is in dedication to, in the 15th century, there was a yogi who they refer to as the divine madman. And he used a very unorthodox way of teaching Buddhism. And he's the one that is credited for introducing the phallus as a symbol of power, decreasing negative energy, and of course fertility. So in the next slide, you'll see a lot of pictures of phalluses, not yet. This temple is famous for childless couples to come, and the monk will bless them. And we saw this in action. They strapped on this big wooden phallus to this woman's back, and she walked around the temple 3 times praying. And they have photo albums you can see of babies and thank you notes that were conceived after visiting the temple. So these are some of the pictures of that you'll see, the more tame pictures, I guess I'll say. Okay, this is a store, lots of stores that sell all sorts of decorative phalluses. I really like the little planes there. Okay, and then this is another one, entry guard to the store. Okay. Oops. Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Okay. And then this one is, you can sort of see it at the door of the entry to the door there, the red object. And this was a little town that we took a hike to and reached this little farming village. And it just coincidentally happened that night we got to see a movie where this town is featured in. This is the monk, is the head monk of the monastery there. It's a really delightful movie, and if you have a Houston Public Library card, you can download it on the Hoopla app. So I encourage you to watch it. It's a very good depiction of Bhutan. It just came out last year, but it depicts the elections, for the mock elections they had in 2007, because the fourth king decided that Bhutan should become a democracy. The last 2 things I'll say is if my pictures have inspired you to want to visit Bhutan, keep in mind you can't book a tour on your own. You have to go through a tour company, or you have to arrange with a private guide. And the cost of the trip will include a $100 a day fee that's paid directly to the government. So it helps them to to kind of help preserve how many visitors come. And, I forgot to show the slide of the schools. The schools are all, Bhutan has free education for all and free health care. And they also have, let's see, oops, I'm sort of out of order, sorry. They also have free, if you don't qualify to go to college, they have the free institutes that you can take and learn the cultural heritage arts and crafts, such as weaving, mask making, sculpture making. Which one is it? Yeah, that's it. And last one, painting. Okay, so, and one last thing, Bhutan is a negative carbon emissions, because they have 70% of the country is covered in forest, and their constitution mandates that it should never be below 60%. So again, this is all part of the national, gross national happiness of keeping the people healthy, well-educated, preserving their natural heritage, and taking care of the environment. Okay, thank you for listening. Sorry about the not being very computer savvy. Thank you.
All righty, y'all ready for a trip to Bhutan? I certainly like the GHP, the gross happiness, gross national happiness, GNH, I guess. That's a good approach. Speaking about happiness, why don't we take a happiness break for about 10 minutes or so, grab some coffee, refuel, and we'll be back here for our main talk. let's go ahead, get back to our seats. And we're gonna listen to Laura real quick. But while others from outside are finding their way back into the room, just kind of wanted to mention a couple of things. The Houston Oasis board meeting is this upcoming Wednesday. If you would like to participate, send an email to board@houstonoasis.org. We will share the link to the board meeting with you. We don't post that link openly. I think we've all been in calls where we got Zoom bombed or whatnot. So, but you're welcome to attend the open portion of the board meeting. Just ask us for the link. There'll also be Blues Night on Thursday, May 22nd. From 8:15 to 11:15. Goodness, who stays out that late? But I think Will is leading that. That will be at the Big Easy, and the Mighty Orc is going to be playing for that. A few more announcements later, but why don't we go ahead and welcome Laura Foma, a native Houstonian and a longtime member of Houston Oasis. She received her Bachelor's of Science degree in Communication Sciences and Disorders from Stephen F. Austin State University, and her Master's of Science degree also in Communication Science and Disorders from Texas A&M University, Kingsville. Laura has worked as a speech-language pathologist for 7 years in both the public school system and private practice. In honor of National Speech, Language, and Hearing Month, which is May, Laura's presentation, What is an SLP, will present a high-level overview of educational requirements, job placements, as well as populations served by speech-language pathologists. Welcome, Laura.
So this is probably what a lot of people think what an SLP does. We do a lot more, I promise you. So like Rena said, my background is in communication sciences and disorders. In grad school, you do have to do externships. I was placed at schools here in Houston, as well as a skilled nursing facility or a SNF unit at St. Dominic's. So I have worked with pediatrics and geriatrics, but my wheelhouse is definitely pediatrics. So what is communication? According to Merriam-Webster, communication is a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs, or behaviors, so verbal, written, sign language, things like that. And what is a speech-language pathologist? According to ASHA, or the American Speech-Language Hearing Association, which is our governing body, a speech-language pathologist, or SLP, works to prevent, assess, diagnose, treat speech-language, social communication, cognitive communication, and swallowing disorders in both children and adults. So where do we work? The short answer is everywhere. Healthcare settings, so hospitals, skilled nursing facilities, private practice, home health. We also work in education, so public schools as well as universities, and then we also do a lot of research. And again, we work with everybody. So peds, infants, adults, and geriatrics. And we treat everything. So pretty much from here up is what we deal with. So why see an SLP? So neonatal problems, prematurity or low birth weight, that can affect the formation of the fetus, so that can cause difficulties with swallowing or cognitive impairments, as well as substance exposure. So this little girl was exposed, had fetal alcohol syndrome, so that can affect, as you can see, the formation of the craniofacial features. It could also affect, like I said, cognition. Developmental disabilities, so speech-language impairment, so that language or that articulation piece, ASD or autism spectrum disorder, learning disabilities, intellectual disabilities, genetic disorders. These are just a few that we work with, but there's a whole list that we would work with. Aerodigestive tract disorders, so these are the Technically, they should be a really nice pearly white, but as you can see, they're kind of red and inflamed. So if you have like COPD, a severe cough, things like that, that can irritate the vocal folds. So different things we would help treat with that. Laryngeal abnormalities, so vocal fold pathology, so different things on the vocal folds, tracheal stenosis, so that's a narrowing of the trachea, so we could help with that. Oral anomalies, so cleft palate, dental malocclusions, so overbite, underbite, macroglossia, the large tongue, as well as oral motor dysfunction. Oral facial, so habitual open mouth, tongue ties or lip ties, chewing difficulties or difficulty with the muscular thing, as well as lip and tongue resting position, so like tongue thrust and things like that. Upper respiratory patterns and compromises, so velopharyngeal insufficiency. So this is the soft palate right here. When we talk, usually it should be closed completely, except for when we make the nasal sounds like the M, the N, or the NG sounds. Somebody with a velopharyngeal insufficiency or incompetence, that cannot fully close with the pharynx, this back wall. And so we would work with a team of surgeons and other medical personnel to help. We would be more like helping you train how to produce those sounds before we get the surgery done, but also to help ensure that you are able to do that carryover after the surgery is completed. We also help with COPD, just to kind of help with that breathing. We would work. It would not just be us. Again, we would be working in a team. Neurological disorders, so traumatic brain injury or TBI, cerebral palsy, stroke, dementia, Parkinson's. We would do a lot with that. Psychiatric disorders, schizophrenia, psychosis, that can alter your mental state. We would help with that cognitive piece. And so getting into kind of our wheelhouse. So we have functional speech disorders. So that would be articulation or phonological. So articulation is just substitution of some specific sounds. So like a K for a T, things like that. But then we also have the phonological disorders. Those are those predictable role-based errors. So you might notice it a lot with little kids where they leave off the last sound. So instead of cat, they might say ka, but that's the predictable pattern, so you can fill in those errors. Or they say a T for a K, so instead of a cat, it's a tat. But again, that's that predictable pattern. You're able to kind of fill in and know what they're trying to tell you. We also have organic speech disorders. So dysarthria or CAS, also known as childhood apraxia of speech. Somebody with childhood apraxia of speech, they don't have that predictable pattern. So you're always trying to guess what they're trying to say. We also work with people with a cleft palate. We would work in a team with the plastic surgeon, doctors to help. We would be doing a lot with, for babies, feeding, so finding the right bottle nipple so that way there's no formula going up into the nasopharynx. It would all be going down to the gastrointestinal tract. But then we would also be working with, for like articulation as well after that surgery has been completed. We also work with hearing loss. So people, if you can't hear the sounds, you're not going to say it, but also helping people that have a hearing loss, helping them manage that hearing loss as well. This is what some SLPs feel like when we're trying to work on a new sound. And the kids are like, what? We also work with fluency. And fluency is that interruption. So somebody that stutters, we would say has a fluency disorder. And there's two main types of fluency, and that is the stuttering, the one that is most common, as well as cluttering. For stuttering, there are 3 types of disfluencies. The prolongation, so stretching out of that sound, so like I go to the park. Repetition, repeating that sound or that word, as well as blocks where just no sound is coming out whatsoever. Cluttering is not as common, but it's a perceived rate of, it's a perceived increased rate of speech. They also might use maze patterns, so talking around what they're trying to say. Their grammar might get twisted. They might transpose words or truncate words as well. We also work with childhood language disorders. This is, again, really a large part of my wheelhouse. Receptive is understanding what is being said to you, so following those directions, identifying things. Expressive is labeling those things, answering those questions, forming those sentences. And there's a whole host of possible causes, ASD, syndromes, family history, learning disorders, and the list goes on. But when I was in the schools, I didn't care. You used it correctly. But for adult language disorders, one of the big ones is aphasia. And this would usually be seen like after a brain injury or after a stroke. There's several different types of aphasia, but 2 big ones are Broca's and Wernicke's. Broca's is this little purple. Wernicke's is green. Broca's is trying to get those words out. So you know exactly what you want to say. It's just trying to figure out in your brain like where that word is. So it's like in your file system trying to figure out where it is. But Wernicke's is more in that auditory place in the brain. And so you have usually your language is a little more intact, but you have trouble understanding what is being asked of you. We also work with social communication. So think of like Sheldon from The Big Bang, knowing what is an appropriate topic, following the rules of conversation, understanding that non-literal language, making inferences. So if I tell my husband, wow, that chocolate looks really, really great, and he says, and keeps on eating it, that's a breakdown in the social communication. We also work with voice disorders. And so for this is the one that we do not diagnose on our own. Because we cannot physically see the vocal folds, we would also work in conjunction with a doctor because we don't want to start treating anything if it's something worse. And it can be organic or functional. I do have other pictures up here, so if people are squeamish, just forewarning. Structural is like polyps or nodules. It can also be changes just due to aging. It can also be neurogenic, something going wrong with the central or peripheral nervous systems. So like a vocal fold paralysis, spasmodic dysphonia, RFK, or a vocal tremor. So this is a polyp on the vocal folds. And so because the polyp is there, the vocal folds can't properly occlude, so you would get that breathy or hoarse quality. And then the little white dots, those are the nodules, and those are like essentially calluses that have formed on your vocal folds. And so we would help try to teach you different ways of how to easily speak, but whispering is also very bad. So if you do have something going on with your vocal folds and somebody tells you you need vocal rest, please don't whisper. Please don't. We also have functional voice disorders, so like vocal fatigue, muscle tension, diplophonia, so that would be like 2 different speech tones coming out at the same time. So muscle fatigue, if you've gone to a concert or like a really, really loud restaurant and you've been yelling and screaming at the person across the table from you for hours, the next day you can't talk. That's your muscle fatigue. So there's nothing really wrong with your vocal folds, it's just you've tired them out. We also work with cognition. So this is a lot more like the adult and geriatric population. So we're working with attention, memory, problem solving, executive functioning, things like that. We also do a lot with swallowing. So there's 4 different phases to the swallow. So the oral phase, once you've gotten it off your plate into your mouth, that's the chewing and readying the food or the bolus for the transit into the swallow. The pharyngeal phase is getting it from your mouth to your esophagus, and then once it's in the esophagus, it's done. We have no real control over that anymore. We also work with atypical eating, so like food sensitivities. So more than just the kid, I don't like peas or I don't like broccoli. It's the I don't like crunchy things, I don't like smushy things. So it's like helping those kids tolerate different things. So it's like if they're only eating McDonald's French fries and Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets and that's their entire diet, it's like, well, we need more than just that. But we can also, like I said, help work with swallowing. So this is a little x-ray of a barium swallow. So it should, right here is the trachea, and the trachea is always open. Your esophagus will collapse, so that way it makes way for the trachea. But then your epiglottis will, or should, cover your trachea, so that way no food gets in there. And so this one is a good, safe swallow. And it goes real fast. This person has some weakness in their swallow, so you'll see it kind of pull right in front of that epiglottis and then just all dribble down into their trachea. It's like they have no control over it. And the super scary thing is they're not coughing, they're not choking, so it's all going down into the lungs. And so that would be, that could then cause pneumonia. So very scary. But that's why you see an SLP. We also do oral habilitation or rehabilitation. So these services are definitely very tailorized to the individual. So it depends on their age, the age of onset that their hearing was lost, the severity of the hearing loss, when amplification was introduced, so hearing aids, cochlear implants, FM systems, different things like that. We would also work very closely in conjunction with an audiologist. So we would be helping them learn how to care for their amplification devices. We would also help with that articulation piece. So again, if you can't hear the sounds, you're not going to say them correctly. We also do elective services, so accent or dialect modification. So we might work, actors will go see a dialect coach for different movie roles, so that could be an SLP. We also might work with the transgender population when they're in that transition to help find that voice and change that voice safely and effectively. We might also help with their verbal and non-verbal communication, so very, very different areas that we would work with. My SLP by proxy didn't help me this morning. We also work with AAC, and that could be aided or unaided. Unaided would be facial expressions, sign language, gestures, things like that. We also have aided. So aided would be like a writing system, or we also have core boards. I do have some at my house, and I'm so sorry. But it could be dynamic or non-dynamic. So a non-dynamic AAC core board would be just like me pointing to a piece of paper with different pictures on it, so that way I can communicate. We also have the dynamic or a SGD, speech generating device, that would speak for you. So like Stephen Hawking had that device, that's a high-tech SGD or speech generating device. And we just say SLP because we can't fit all of that on our badge. questions, comments, concerns? Or Verena, am I jumping ahead?
No, are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you so much. We only have time for one question, unfortunately. But Laura has promised to. Do we have?
I could shout it out. When you produce a sound, you've got tongue muscles as well as those folds.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you've got a consonant or a vowel, has there been studies or something that decide how much each contributes to a particular sound? Or is that?
So the question was like the musculature of like how much it.
You got the tongue, you got the vocal folds, and you've got a particular sound, consonant, vowel, or whatever.
I'm sure there is studies that have been done.
I don't know if it's future or.
But the amount that the muscles move is so tiny. And so there's the vocal folds that are controlled by, I believe it was 6 muscles that are connected to little bones right back here. And so they will contract depending on how high or how low the pitch you want it to be. The musculature in this tongue as well as in the jaw and the lips. There's lots of muscles that go into speech, and speech is just a really fun byproduct of what the muscles were intended for, which is eating. So that's a really great one. Do we have time for other questions, Verena, or is that it?
There's one more question.
Okay.
And then we're going to have to.
Okay.
It's not even a question. Yes, it's a question.
Okay.
The age thing is not just on this end, the old end. The age is also, I'm remembering when my child was just starting to make sounds, learning how to speak, and the functional speech disorder was really not a disorder. It was just so interesting to have him consistently say something wrong, except it would be an ending in a T instead of a C, and eventually, of course, it fixed itself.
And we do see that sometimes those kiddos that do have that speech disorder, it will fix itself. And for some of those phonological processes, those are developmentally appropriate up to a certain age. But there are some, like if you leave off the initial consonant of a word, so like a instead of cat, that is wrong at any age. So if you notice any of your family members or anybody else, you could gently nudge them that, hey, have you talked with your pediatrician about this? And then it could be yeah, let's get a referral for an SLP. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Laura. That was very educational. I think we're ready for a couple more songs from Jimmy K. Trio, Jimmy K. Smith Trio. Excellent. Thank you guys so much. Jimmy, where can we find you, follow you?
Well, okay, so we're just really just kind of three freelance musicians who are just kind of friends with each other, so we kind of play separately. But the drummer and I, this is Sasha Lukashin. He is from Riga, Latvia. Came to us by way of St. Petersburg, Russia, and he's been here for a while now, I think. 35 years, been here in Houston, right? Pretty much here in Houston. And he and I play together Sunday evenings at a place called Cons. It's over in Midtown, over by the Fuss Saigon in Midtown. And we play there every Sunday night. We have an organ trio. And then my friend Corey Dozier over here, he's a Houston native, went to HSPVA over here. He and I played together quite often with a lady named Tiana Hall, just all around town, you know. Whoever's got the money, we got the time, you know. And then that's basically how our connections.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Certainly great to have you here today. We are getting pretty much to the end of our program. Thank you all so much for coming. I did want to give a big shout out to Kevin and Barun they were down to a skeleton crew today, but they made it happen. Thank you guys so much. There's definitely, we rely very heavily on our volunteers to bring Sundays together, make it all happen. Certainly the audio crew, but also the folks who are doing the coffee. I'm not sure, Tish, was it you this week? So thank you so much for making that. And of course, putting together the programming, et cetera, et cetera. If anybody feels inclined to join any of the groups that are helping put Houston Oasis together, reach out to one of us board members, myself, Tim, and we, I don't know, are we the only ones this week? All right. Well, it's travel time, and I know Jennifer is busy with graduations of folks, and so lots of things going on. But yeah, thank you all very much for coming. We do generally have a little bit of a plea for support, financial support, while we run basically on volunteers. The room isn't free to us. We do pay the musician, and sometimes when we bring in professional speakers, we do have costs associated with that as well. So there are a number of ways to give on the back of your bulletin. Feel free to do that now, and or set up for a recurrent donation if you would like to do that. We have, like I said, the board meeting this upcoming Wednesday starting at 7 p.m. If you want to join, email board@houstonoasis.org and we'll get you the link. Blues Night, and then next week we have Oasis Book Club. Ginger, are you somebody they can reach out to? The book is 21 Balloons, so if you want to pick that up and discuss that with other Oasians next week, Wednesday, not this upcoming week, Wednesday, but May 28th at Cafe Express from 7 until 9 o'clock. And if you have any questions, Ginger can help you. There's also a midweek late lunch that happens once a month. I guess it's the second Thursday of the month. So at Nico's from 1 until 3 o'clock. The next one's going to be Thursday, June 12th. Next week, we'll be shifting gears a little bit. We won't have much of a programming to tell you about things that are going on. Rather, we'll be finding the creative spirit in each one of us. We'll be bringing a few items for all of us to work on, or if you are a creative person and you'd like to bring your things to the gathering, feel free to do so. We will have creative space. We will have some things to paint, and if there's something you would like to do, and that's feasible to do in a room like that, soldering may not be the thing to bring. But yes, we will have a creative Sunday. We'll get together and chat over doing some crafts projects. Looking forward to that, and I hope you all are going to have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. Lunch today is going to be at Katz's, 616 Westheimer Road. Hope you can come and continue the conversation. Thank you all.